The unexpected resistance. The vast observation deck of the Nexus Confederation's primary diplomatic vessel hummed with an air of calculated superiority. Ambassador Krulax, a towering crystalline being with fractal-like appendages, studied the holographic representation of Earth with a mixture of disdain and clinical curiosity. Primitive species, he muttered to his second-in-command, Vornak. Their technological capabilities are barely spacefaring. The integration process will be simple. The Nexus Confederation had perfected the art of galactic conquest. Hundreds of civilizations have been absorbed into their collective, stripped of autonomy, and repurposed as resource generation zones. Their methodology was precise. Overwhelming technological superiority, psychological intimidation, and complete systemic dismantling of any potential resistance. Commander Elena Rodriguez stood in the United Earth Defense Command's central strategy room, her dark eyes scanning the incoming transmission from the alien delegation. Unlike the aliens' expectation of a trembling, submissive response, her stance radiated quiet determination. "They think we'll roll over," she said to Dr. Marcus Williams, the chief scientific advisor. "But they don't understand humanity." The holographic display flickered, revealing Ambassador Krulax's crystalline form. His voice resonated with an artificial translator, each word dripping with condescension. "Inhabitants of Earth, your civilization has been selected for mandatory integration into the Nexus Confederation. Resistance is mathematically improbable. Surrender your technological and biological resources, and you will be granted minimal autonomy." A tense silence filled the room. The assembled military and scientific leaders exchanged knowing glances. Dr. Williams adjusted his glasses, a subtle smile playing on his lips. "They're operating on historical data," he whispered to Rodriguez. "They've analyzed our past conflicts, our wars, our internal struggles. But they've missed something fundamental." Rodriguez nodded. "Our ability to adapt, our unpredictability." The alien transmission continued, outlining the peaceful integration process, a euphemism for complete subjugation. Planetary resources would be systematically extracted, key infrastructure dismantled, and the population redistributed as labor units across various Nexus territories. What the Nexus didn't know was that humanity had been preparing, not just militarily, but strategically. The past decades of seemingly fractured international relations had been a carefully orchestrated facade. Behind the scenes, a global coalition had been developing technologies and strategies specifically designed to counter potential extraterrestrial threats. Dr. Williams activated a secure communication channel. Dozens of research stations across the globe, hidden in plain sight, began synchronizing their most advanced prototypes. Quantum computing networks, adaptive nanotechnological defense systems, and psychological warfare algorithms came online, each a testament to human ingenuity. "They're scanning our defense systems," announced Lieutenant Hiroshi Tanaka, monitoring the alien probe's reconnaissance efforts. Typical Nexus methodology, gathering data before the initial strike. Rodriguez walked to the holographic display, her fingers tracing the projected invasion routes. "Let them scan. Let them believe they understand us." The truth was far more complex. Humanity's strength had never been in raw technological power, but in its ability to innovate under pressure, to turn limitations into opportunities, to transform seemingly insurmountable challenges into catalysts for evolution. As the Nexus delegation concluded their ultimatum, waiting for the expected capitulation, Commander Rodriguez made a decision that would echo through galactic history. "Prepare Contingency Protocol Omega," she said quietly. "It's time they learned what happens when they underestimate humanity." The room erupted into coordinated action. Screens flickered with complex algorithms, defense networks aligned, and a global network of scientists, military personnel, and strategic planners began their intricate dance of preparation. They weren't just preparing for a war. They were setting the stage for a revolution that would redefine humanity's place in the universe. The Nexus thought they were about to absorb another civilization. They were wrong. They were about to encounter a species that would change everything they knew about conquest. Humanity was ready, and they would not kneel. Strategic defiance. 12 hours after the Nexus ultimatum, the first wave of alien attack vessels breached Earth's outer orbital defense zones. Their sleek, crystalline ships moved with mathematical precision, expecting the same predictable resistance they had encountered in hundreds of previous conquests. They were about to learn a fundamental lesson about humanity. In a hidden research facility beneath the Andes Mountains, Dr. Marcus Williams watched the alien approach with a calm that belied the magnitude of the moment. Surrounding him, a team of scientists from every corner of the globe worked in perfect synchronization, a living embodiment of human collaborative potential. Activate Phase 1. Rodriguez's voice crackled through the communication systems. The first surprise came when the Nexus fleet's advanced scanning technologies encountered something entirely unexpected. Instead of a unified planetary defense grid, they found a decentralized network of adaptive defense systems that seemed to shift and reconfigure in real time. Lieutenant Hiroshi Tanaka monitored the alien communication frequencies. "They're confused," he reported, a hint of satisfaction in his voice. "Their predictive algorithms are breaking down." The truth was both simple and revolutionary. Humanity had developed a quantum adaptive defense network that learned and responded faster than any centralized system could. Each defensive node was an independent unit, capable of making split-second decisions, yet interconnected through a web of advanced quantum communication protocols. As the first wave of Nexus ships approached, they were met not with traditional missile barrages or energy weapon exchanges, but with something far more sophisticated: swarms of nanotechnological interceptors, each no larger than a honeybee, began to systematically dismantle the alien vessel's outer protective layers. Ambassador Krelax watched in mounting disbelief as his fleet's supposedly impenetrable ships began to dissolve. The nanoswarms didn't destroy. They deconstructed, breaking down advanced alien materials at a molecular level, turning cutting-edge technology into microscopic dust. "This is impossible," Vornak muttered, his crystalline form trembling with an emotion close to fear. But humanity was just getting started. Deep within the research facility, Dr. Williams activated the second phase of their defense strategy. Psychological warfare had always been a human specialty, and they had prepared something extraordinary. Every Nexus communication channel was simultaneously flooded with a carefully crafted information matrix. It wasn't an attack. It was a psychological intervention designed to exploit the fundamental weaknesses in the Nexus Confederation's collective consciousness. Simulated scenarios, impossible geometric patterns, and strategic information fragments began to interfere with the aliens' collective decision-making processes. The Nexus, so reliant on predictive algorithms and collective reasoning, found themselves confronted with cognitive dissonance on an unprecedented scale. "We're not fighting their technology," Dr. Williams explained to Rodriguez. "We're fighting their understanding of conflict itself." The human ships, seemingly outnumbered and outgunned, began to move in patterns that defied conventional tactical logic. They would concentrate force at impossible angles, retreat when expected to advance, and strike with precision that suggested something beyond mere military strategy. Each alien ship lost wasn't just a material defeat, it was a psychological blow to the Nexus Confederation's core belief in their own superiority. Rodriguez watched the battle unfold, a strategic masterpiece of human innovation. "They came expecting a straightforward conquest," she said quietly. "They're discovering we don't play by anyone's rules but our own." As the first wave of the Nexus invasion crumbled, humanity sent a clear message to the universe. We are not just another civilization to be conquered. We are a species that turns challenges into opportunities, that finds strength in our diversity, and that will never, ever kneel. The battle for Earth had begun, and humanity was just warming up. The turning point, the aftermath of the first two engagements, had sent shockwaves through the Nexus Confederation. What was supposed to be a routine planetary absorption had transformed into something entirely unprecedented. Their most advanced predictive models had catastrophically failed, and the concept of human unpredictability was no longer a theoretical concern. It was a terrifying reality. Deep within the Nexus command ship, Ambassador Krelax convened an emergency council. The crystalline beings, usually a model of calculated composure, now displayed something remarkably close to panic. "These humans are not like any species we've encountered," Vornak reported, holographic data streams flickering around him. "Our tactical algorithms have been compromised. Their defense mechanisms adapt faster than we can analyze them." The council chamber hummed with a collective sense of disbelief. The Nexus Confederation had conquered hundreds of civilizations, systematically dismantling their defenses with mathematical precision. Humanity was challenging everything they knew about galactic domination. Meanwhile, on Earth, Commander Elena Rodriguez and Dr. Marcus Williams were orchestrating their next move. Their strategy was never about pure military might. It was about turning the very nature of conflict on its head. "They're expecting us to fight conventionally," Dr. Williams explained, bringing up a complex holographic display. "Instead, we'll fight in ways they can't comprehend." The human response was multi-layered. While the Nexus fleet regrouped, preparing for what they believed would be a more systematic assault, humanity was already several steps ahead. A global network of scientists had been working on something extraordinary, a technological solution that blurred the lines between warfare, communication, and pure innovation. They called it the Adaptive Resonance Protocol. Using a combination of quantum entanglement, advanced linguistic algorithms, and psychological modeling, the humans began to broadcast a series of complex information signals. These weren't just communications. They were sophisticated cognitive disruption waves designed to interfere with the Nexus Confederation's collective decision-making processes. Lieutenant Hiroshi Tanaka monitored the broadcasts. "We're not just blocking their communications," he reported. "We're introducing calculated chaos into their collective consciousness." The Nexus ships began to experience inexplicable system failures. Navigation protocols would suddenly shift, weapon targeting would become erratic, and communication channels would be flooded with complex, mind-bending information patterns that defied their computational logic. It was psychological warfare taken to an unprecedented level. Ambassador Krelax watched in growing horror as his fleet's coherence began to fragment. The Nexus Confederation had always relied on their ability to think and act as a collective, with individual units functioning like cells in a larger organism. Humanity was systematically attacking the very foundation of their collective intelligence. "This is impossible," Krelax muttered, his crystalline form trembling. "No species should be capable of this level of cognitive disruption." But humanity was proving that the impossible was merely a limitation of imagination. The human strategy wasn't about destroying the Nexus fleet. It was about making them question their own existence. Each broadcast, each quantum-entangled signal, was designed to introduce doubt, to create cognitive dissonance that would paralyze their collective decision-making. Dr. Williams watched the data streams with a mixture of scientific fascination and strategic satisfaction. "We're not fighting their technology," he explained to Rodriguez. "We're fighting their understanding of intelligence itself." As the Nexus fleet began to lose cohesion, humanity prepared for the next phase of their resistance. They weren't just defending their planet. They were redefining the very concept of interstellar conflict. The universe was about to learn that humanity's greatest weapon was never its technology, but its ability to think beyond conventional limitations. The turning point had arrived, and the Nexus Confederation was about to discover why humans were never meant to be conquered. Galactic uprising. The Nexus Confederation had never anticipated a coordinated global response, let alone a multi-system human resistance. What began as an invasion of Earth had transformed into a galactic nightmare for the alien collective. Dr. Arya Patel, lead coordinator of the Interstellar Resistance Network, monitored the expanding conflict from a hidden base on Mars. Her team had spent years preparing contingency plans that went far beyond Earth's immediate defense. Now those plans were coming to fruition in ways even they hadn't fully predicted. "Activate Project Prometheus," she commanded, her voice calm, but laden with determination. Across human-established colonies and outposts, a carefully orchestrated plan began to unfold. The Nexus had assumed human settlements were isolated, vulnerable, and easily conquered. They were about to learn their first and most critical lesson about humanity. Isolation was never a weakness. It was an opportunity for innovation. Each human colony had been developed with a core principle of adaptive resilience. Unlike the Nexus' centralized structure, human settlements were designed to be independently sustainable yet capable of rapid collaboration. Advanced communication networks, developed using quantum entanglement technology, allowed instantaneous sharing of strategies and resources. On Titan Colony, Commander Jack Rodriguez, no relation to Elena, had been preparing for this moment. The methane-rich environment of Saturn's moon had been transformed into a fortress of human ingenuity. Underground facilities, protected by adaptive nano-shielding house technologies that would make the Nexus Confederation question everything they knew about technological development. The first wave of Nexus ships approaching Titan encountered something entirely unexpected. Instead of traditional defense systems, they found an environment that seemed to come alive with resistance. Swarms of autonomous drones, constructed from local resources, emerged from hidden launch points. These weren't just weapons. They were living technologies that could adapt, learn, and respond faster than any centralized command could predict. Ambassador Krulax watched in mounting frustration as reports came in from multiple star systems. Human colonies weren't just resisting. They were actively turning the invasion into a strategic nightmare for the Nexus. On Europa, another human outpost had developed a revolutionary approach to space warfare. Using the moon's vast water resources and advanced energy manipulation techniques, they created dynamic energy fields that could instantly reconfigure spatial dynamics. Nexus ships found themselves caught in impossible gravitational anomalies, their advanced navigation systems rendered useless. Dr. Patel's strategy was brilliantly simple: turn every human settlement into a unique, unpredictable battleground. Each colony was a puzzle the Nexus would need to solve, and humanity excelled at creating unsolvable puzzles. "They're treating this like a standard conquest," Dr. Patel explained to her team. "But we're not a standard species. We don't have a single point of failure. We are a distributed network of innovation." The communication intercepts revealed the growing panic within the Nexus Confederation. Their collective intelligence, once their greatest strength, was now becoming their most significant vulnerability. Humans had introduced a concept that was completely alien to the Nexus: controlled chaos. Lieutenant Hiroshi Tanaka, monitoring global communication networks, detected something extraordinary. The human resistance wasn't just a military response. It was a global, almost organic movement. Scientists, engineers, artists, philosophers, everyone was contributing to the resistance in their unique way. "We're not just fighting," Tanaka reported. "We're evolving in real time." As the Nexus fleet continued its assault, they began to realize a terrifying truth. This wasn't just a battle for a single planet or even a single star system. This was a war against a species that saw every challenge as an opportunity for growth, every setback as a chance to innovate. The galactic uprising had begun, and humanity was just getting started. Triumph of will. The final confrontation was nothing like the Nexus Confederation had ever experienced. What began as a simple planetary invasion had transformed into a fundamental challenge to their entire understanding of intelligence, resistance, and survival. Deep within the heart of the Nexus command ship, Ambassador Krulax watched as their carefully constructed galactic order began to unravel. The human resistance had done more than just fight. They had fundamentally rewritten the rules of conflict. Dr. Arya Patel stood on the bridge of the horizon, humanity's most advanced command vessel. Around her, a diverse team of scientists, military strategists, and cultural experts worked in perfect synchronization. This wasn't just a war of technology. It was a war of ideology, of understanding, a fundamental approach to existence. Final phase initiating, she announced, her voice calm and resolute. The human response had evolved beyond mere military resistance. They had turned the entire conflict into a complex, multi-layered challenge that attacked the Nexus Confederation at its most fundamental level, its collective consciousness. Commander Jack Rodriguez coordinated the final strategic maneuver. Across multiple star systems, human colonies had been preparing a response that was equal parts technological marvel and philosophical revolution. The Adaptive Resonance Protocol, developed by Dr. Marcus Williams, was about to reach its ultimate expression. Quantum communication networks, psychological interference algorithms, and adaptive nanotechnologies converged in a moment of unprecedented innovation. The humans weren't just fighting. They were offering the Nexus Confederation a fundamentally different way of understanding existence. The attack came from everywhere and nowhere simultaneously. Nexus ships found their communication networks flooded with complex information patterns that defied traditional computational logic. It wasn't destruction. It was a form of cognitive liberation. Lieutenant Hiroshi Tanaka monitored the global network, watching as humanity's collective intelligence performed what could only be described as a species-wide computational jujitsu. Each Nexus attempt to counteract human strategies was met with a response that was simultaneously adaptive, unpredictable, and profoundly intelligent. Ambassador Krellex realized the horrifying truth. Humanity was not just resisting conquest. They were offering the Nexus Confederation a choice: evolve or become obsolete. The final breakthrough came not through devastating weaponry, but through a sophisticated communication matrix that essentially hacked the Nexus Confederation's collective consciousness. It wasn't an invasion. It was an invitation to a different way of thinking. "We're not destroying them," Dr. Paddle explained to her team. "We're giving them a chance to understand a different kind of intelligence." As the Nexus fleet began to fragment, something extraordinary happened. Instead of total annihilation, the human resistance offered an unprecedented alternative, a collaborative framework that challenged everything the Nexus believed about galactic hierarchy and collective intelligence. The universe watched in awe as humanity demonstrated that true strength was never about overwhelming force, but about adaptability, creativity, and the willingness to see challenges as opportunities for growth. Commander Elena Rodriguez, watching from Earth, understood the profound significance of the moment. This wasn't just a victory against an alien invasion. This was a statement about the human spirit, a declaration that humanity would never be defined by limitations, but by its infinite capacity for innovation and hope. As the last Nexus ships began to retreat, a new chapter in galactic history was being written. Humanity had not just defended itself, it had redefined the very concept of resistance. They had chosen to fight, and in doing so, they had shown the universe what it truly meant to be human.